What's up fam, my name is Tech and welcome to my Mass Effect 3 multiplayer guide for the Cerberus Adept. I'll be starting by going over the racial passives and then the active abilities. Following that, I'll give you some builds you can try to start off with the class. And as always, links to useful information will be in the description. So what can he do? When it comes to passives, the Cerberus Adept is very similar to the base human classes. Because most of that stuff is the same, I'll only be pointing out the differences. He has 100 more base barrier, his light and heavy melee hit multiple targets, and Phoenix training gives about 10% more power damage at the cost of 2.5 weapon damage. The Cerberus Adept is primarily a caster that has an interesting mix of long and short range abilities that make it a pretty versatile class. His kit consists of Singularity, Smash, and Lash. Singularity doesn't need too much coverage, it's an AoE primer that lifts unprotected target. Smash and Lash are a bit unique. Smash is a short range AoE that deals high damage and force to anything caught in it. If spec'd for damage, it can one-shot many infantry armored units like Dragoons, depending on difficulty, and it can do a significant chunk on most others. It has a long cast animation for a close range ability, but this is somewhat mitigated by being able to move slowly while using it. In addition to that, it has a similar property to Nova in that you can roll or take other actions like melee. This allows you to cancel some of the recovery to deal more damage or roll out of danger. It can be spec'd to apply either a biotic or electric effect that can be detonated, which makes this both a primer and a detonator, all around a solid ability. Lash is the big brother to pull, and it behaves quite similarly. On activation you launch a projectile at a target, but instead of floating unprotected enemies it will yank them more forcefully than pull. There are a few significant pros to Lash over pull. Firstly, it deals a small amount of damage, and because it's more forceful than pull, it usually deals more physics damage by knocking units into walls and dropping them from heights. Secondly, its damage potential is higher separate from that as it's a detonator as well as a primer where pull is only a primer. And it also bypasses what in my opinion is pull's biggest weakness. Rank 6B's Shield Penetration perk allows Lash to be used on both shields and barriers, which means you can reliably CC many more units with this. It even has enough force to stagger units like brutes with the right perks, which means with the right timing you can prevent one-shots on teammates. So Lash is all pros compared to pull, right? Well, not quite, it does have a few cons. Its cooldown is longer than pull. It's still pretty low compared to most abilities, but pull is the lowest in the game. And its animation is much slower. Since a projectile is connected to your arm, you're vulnerable throughout, and if you cancel the animation before it connects, you will cancel the ability altogether. So how does this all come together? As a Cerberus Adept, you can operate at multiple ranges. At longer ranges, you like to drop Singularity on clumps of enemies, softening shields with weapon fire, then detonating with Lash. At close ranges, you can drop Singularity on choke points and then Smash to detonate. As such, you typically want all three of your abilities. Start off by maxing Singularity, taking Radius, Recharge Speed, and Detonate. Then max Smash with Biotic Combo, Force on Damage, and Armor Damage. Then take Lash with Detonate, Recharge Speed, and Shield Penetration. Singularity and Lash are pretty cut and dry with the perk choices, the others are not so useful. But Smash does have some viable variants. Electrical damage is also good as it can help with shields what this class is not great at, and usually when I run combo builds I like to take Recharge Speed whenever possible, but with Smash, its damage is so high I like to augment that further. Radius is also good as it allows you to hit 3 targets plus more range. This class is pretty flexible in terms of weapons as long as you keep your weapon weight low. Thus far I've preferred using assault rifles, SMGs, and heavy pistols. The two that have stuck with me so far are the Hurricane and the Lancer. The Lancer is my favorite AR for casters as it has pretty high damage at manageable recoil, and if you're weaving abilities you rarely run out of ammo. And the Hurricane is pretty similar, low weight and can boost power damage. The only issue here is the bullet spread, but that can be somewhat mitigated by using cover. One of the really cool things about this class is that all of its abilities with the right perks can be primers and detonators. One of the highest damage routes you can do is to drop Singularity on a target or group of targets, then as safely as possible smash them. If they are lifted they will all detonate. Then if there's something still alive, smash again when possible. After about 2 smashes, Singularity will detonate itself, dealing damage and detonating the biotic effect on Smash. This combo tends to be enough to kill brutes or banshees, and because of how much force Smash has, if you have a bit of cover you can stagger them long enough to complete the combo with relative safety. I think the best 2 ammo types for this class are Warp and Disruptor rounds. You should be able to get the bonus damage from biotic effects with Warp, and the Disruptor rounds are good for shields. This class is the best against Reapers since they clump and funnel into you. Plus many of them are unprotected or armored, which you excel at dealing with. If you like this video, please drop a like so the YouTube algorithm lets other people know this game is still being played. And per the infamous community post, Geth Infiltrator is coming up next, so keep a lookout for that.